which happened within the same 24 hours. Now, at the Chepsaita Marathon, Waziri Murkomen stood up to dance to some music, expecting that others would also follow him and stand up to dance. But he was ignored by everybody, including Faith Kipyegon, who was seated right next to him. Here's the tip. Then in the same day, he went to attend the Kalenjins festival, and as soon as he was given the microphone to greet the people, they booed him off the stage. He had to cut short his speech and say thank you, and he left. Mind you, this is not a Mlima Kenya festival, this is a Kalenjin festival. Here's the tip.
I want to say congratulations to PJ Jaffe. As a ministry, we have supported you, and we are very proud of what you are doing. And as a ministry, we will continue putting something to make sure that you succeed. Asante sana, and may God bless you. Thank you very much.
Now, in line with that, in this video, I want us to look into why Murkomen has gone from being the second most senior Kalenjin after President Ruto. At one point, he was even being touted as the successor of the president. That if the collision between the Kikuyus and Kalenjin sticks, the next time around, it will be a Kikuyu going for president, and there will be a Kalenjin deputy, and that deputy was supposed to be Murkomen. But right now, he's not even in the lineup. We want to look into why that's the case. And with no further ado, let's get after it. Now, first up, the biggest undoing of Murkomen, which has made him so unpopular, is the widespread belief that he brought the 10% culture into the Ministry of Transport, whereby if any foreigner is getting involved with this country, 10% of whatever that amount is has to be remitted to him. It has not been proved anywhere, but nonetheless, the narrative is in circulation. Just listening to former MP of Bahati, Honorable Kimani Gunjiri, exposing the same. Roll the tape.
Ninawauliza, the same people, huyu ni Faruk, huyu ni Sudi, huyu ni Waziri Murkomen. Hawa ndio sasa wameongoza incitement na mpango ya kupiga deputy president. They have enough money. Murkomen 10%, 20%. Hakuna mtu hajui pahali tulikuweko na pahali tuko. In fact, wengi tukiuliza mzuri, kama bibi zao wataweza kuulizwa mzuri wakubali kusema, wengine walikuwa na underwear 2 peke yake. Ukioga, unakausha hiyo, unaweka hiyo ingine. Today, tunaonesha Mungu tumbo. Using the same money kupiga watu. Hiyo group, ukienda Eldoret ni problem. Wanakosi with waheshimiwa wale wengine. Ukienda Nandi is the same people. Ukienda Kericho the same. Ukienda Bomet is the same people creating problem. Ukienda Naroko is the same people. Just because of small money.
Again, I say, whether true or false, this is definitely hurting Murkomen's approval rating. That's why he's being booed off stage. Second reason why Murkomen is unpopular as at now is the fact that he is constantly flossing his expensive watches and belts during hard economic times. Just listening to this.
For example, let's just do a quick check. What's the most expensive shoe you have in your closet?
Most expensive shoe might be 70, 80,000.
Belt?
Belt 40, 50.
You have a belt here 50,000. The most expensive watch you have?
That which I bought with my own money.
Yes.
Well, it was almost like, I think if I remember well, because it's time now, it's about 900,000 or something to watch here. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was, I think, a summary of that, yeah.
Higher. So if we do the quick math, for example, of this expensive watch, then the belt here 50,000 to 950, then tucheze na viatu. Umesema viatu ni 80.
Yeah.
Let's round it off to 100.
Yeah.
So let's say 1.1 something.
Yeah.
Someone.
And when he's asked about the same, guess what his answer is? That's his weakness. Here's the tip.
Appreciate the comments that have come from Kenyans to say, why are you wearing an expensive watch or an expensive shoes? And it is true. Had I taken this money, perhaps to invest in money market, to buy something in bonds and so forth, maybe it would have had me interest and move and do something else. Had I used that money to expand my avocado farm, maybe I would earn a few dollars by exporting those avocados and so forth. But once in a while in life, I really want to tell all Kenyans that have faulted me for wearing those watches that is my weakness. But I am willing to correct myself, because There is a verse in the Bible that says, if there is something that makes you to sin, if your eye makes you to sin, remove it. If your hand makes you to sin, it better be cut out. If a watch or a certain type of shoes.
Again, I usually say, anytime God blesses you, with money, a good job, a good house, a good car, nice wife, nice husband, good kids, you best enjoy that privately. Because the moment you talk about it, people will attack you and your lifestyle and question how you're making money. Yet, who is to say that Murkomen didn't get this money through hard work? None of us knows his assets, his investments. Maybe he makes 20 times more than the salary of a CS through his private endeavors. But nonetheless, the mistake he's made is coming out and flossing the watches and all that. Now he's being called a thief, he's stealing taxpayer money, and so on and so forth. That's the narrative. It's also killing him. Third problem for Murkomen as far as his approval rating is concerned is the fact that he got goaded or tricked into getting in a political beef with the Nandi kingpin Cherargei. Now Nandis don't see eye to eye with Murkomen because Senator Cherargei of Nandi County does not see eye to eye with Murkomen. He ought to have stayed out of it. People use others to elevate themselves. Today, if you want to become president, the easiest thing to do to look like a good contender is to lead the critics of the president. Be the best person at criticizing the president. To dethrone the king, you have to challenge the king. So Murkomen was tricked into this battle with Cherargei, and now he has lost approval rating amongst the Nandis. He should have seen through this, but he didn't. That is also another thing that's costing him right there. And number 4, which is his biggest undoing, it's not something he's been doing for long. He's just started doing it the other day. But him giving unpopular, fanatic speeches, like one which I had the other day where he said Ruto has outdone Kibaki, makes him look like a sycophant and someone who can't reason on his own. And that in turn hurts his approval rating. Just listening to this peculiar speech by Waziri Murkomen.
Mimi nataka kusema hivi, and I have seen many people criticizing the president. And sometimes the criticism that is leveled against the President William Ruto is extremely unfair, being caricatured and insulted. And especially if you look at what the president has done in 2 years. 2 years is not comparable with his predecessors in their 2 years in office. Mheshimiwa Rais kwa miaka 2 amebadilisha uchumi ya Kenya ambayo ilikuwa inaenda kusoroteka. Na mpaka saa hizi tuko inflation imeshuka chini, will be the lowest we have had in almost 17 years. And he's being criticized. And sometimes, I want to say this as I'm in Kericho here. I find it unfair that many people, especially the church, the media, and our critics, are criticizing President William Ruto, not based on the facts, on the things we are doing, but it's a criticism that is laced with tribalism. I find it unfair that President William Ruto is not being compared with President Uhuru Kenyatta, is not being compared with President Mwai Kibaki, is not even being compared with President Jomo Kenyatta. Because of the disease and mentality of tribalism, every critic of William Ruto is comparing him with Daniel Arap Moi, as if there was only one president before him. It is unfair to find fault on the president based on where he comes from or comparing with a president who came from this community before. Let's criticize him for the facts as they are. Compare President William Ruto with his predecessor the first 2 years. Compare President Ruto with President Mwai Kibaki the first 2 years. In 2003, 2004, everybody was crying that President Kibaki amemaliza uchumi, amefanya nini, amefanya. By 2007, if it was not for post-election violence, President Kibaki was being celebrated for turning around the economy. And that's why we want to say here confidently that we have confidence in President William Samoei Ruto. If we give him the necessary time and criticize him fairly, we are going to get proper results for our country. And there is no other country. This is our country. Let us not lace our criticism with tribalism. Let us focus on criticism that are based on the facts and the issues at hand so that we can be able to find fairly what we want to tell the president to do.
So now, when you put 2 and 2 together, that's why Murkomen is being booed off of every other stage, including that of his own backyard of Eldoret. Good thing is he has nothing to lose. He's an appointed leader, not elected. He could enjoy his stint and leave office in 2027 if his boss loses, or if his boss wins, he can piggyback and go on being a CS till 2032. Maybe that's why he doesn't give a damn that much and he can say whatever he wants to say. But had he been an elected leader, you'd be very, very cautious about his utterances and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, that's my thought on why Murkomen is very unpopular as at now. But I'm looking forward